small one, and a bright, but being translucent, hides in the background. Very faint one. One in the background. Nice big one up at the top. And a bright one you can see just on the top of the picture here. Okay, again we get a nice handful of orbs floating around. Nice one there. Nice one up the top here. Very faint one above Gary's head. Subtle one in the background. Another up the top here. A small one next to it. Two small ones side by side. Another faint one just here. Another one in the background. Subtle one. So really this picture is actually quite busy for what it's worth. There's a number of orbs in this room, and the explanations I'll leave it to you to decide, but by all means, as I said, please do give me some feedback. Tell me your experiences, and let's try to tie it together. Again, an orb on my base leg, one on his knee, one off to the side here, very faint one on the mirror, top of Bruce Lee, thank you very much, legend, and another one in the background there, very faint. There's another faint one there, subtle, 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 a big one, subtle, subtle. So as you can see, there's heaps just there. The fact that we're finding so many zooming around, even though they are faint, it boggles the mind as to really where they're going with this stuff. Are they there to help us? Are they viewing us? What is their purpose? And that's what I want to entertain in the upcoming videos. Okay, I have found this reverse field to be quite good, like a negative effect. It comes with the magnifying glass that you'll find in your Windows toolkit, somewhere in accessories anyway. But it can highlight things which are otherwise hard to see. It doesn't always help. It can help. It can also hinder. But it's a useful tool in finding things or seeing if there's anything that you've missed out on in a photo. Those two are quite obvious. This one at the top here is also quite obvious. And another couple through here. Great shot, lots of activity, plenty of orbs floating around, lots and lots and lots. Some bright ones, some softer ones, some good colour schemes. Always interests me, especially when we get these really big ones. So I just wonder what they mean. Is a big one more energetic or what? Smaller, very bright one. So brightness, does brightness or size have anything to do with what they are? Very curious to have an answer to that. Two smaller ones just up here. Once again, on my right shoulder arm, basically running all the way through this meridian here. Intrigues me. Another one in the background, another very faint one there. One thing I notice with pictures like this where everything's blurred and the focus seems to be out, but in actual fact the cameras are taking photos of the orbs. I've actually recorrected photos in the past or readjusted the focus due to the fact that the picture seemed out of sync, and I was very disappointed later on to find out that the photos were so clear on the orbs, but they weren't focusing on us. Disappointed by the fact that I could have had probably the best shots I ever had, but I manually readjusted. Again, here we go. Nice, bright, fantastic orb there. A few more in the background, some of which may or may not be, hard to say, but quite a lot of activity in this room if one wants to take all of those as orbs. Every now and then I had to stop due to the fact that it just hurt too much, and there's Gary having a good chuckle about it. But we do have a small orb just in the centre of the photo here. Okay, some quick highlights. Once again, support leg, one in between, another one just off to the side, almost in line with most probably where his kick's going to come through. Another couple off to the side here. Small one there, very faint. Small one, and very faint one. Faint one off to the side here. And here's one I almost missed, just on top of Gary's head. Smack bang right there, almost blends in. If you do find a picture that you'd like to see in more detail, obviously if you've got the photo, you can really have a look at the detail of these units and maybe blow them up and get a better view. Let me know, email me, make a comment, and I'm more than happy to send them through so you can have a closer look. Again, more support, leg, both in the joints. I don't know if joints have got anything to do with it. Another one on my joint, another one on the bag, up high. Yes guys, that hurt a heap. Anyway, while I get my ribs into action, there's a small one down the bottom here, and another one off to the right. Very faint, you can only just see that. Okay, once again in inverse view, we can see there's quite a strong outline just here. There's another outline up the top here, another one off to the side. It can be very handy in order to find the extra bits and pieces that you may have missed. And zoom in, yeah, that's quite a strong outline, bit of structure involved. One up the top here, very subtle one. Once again, supporting leg. I'm not sure, there seems to be one supporting my arms. Another off to the side here. Okay, this picture gets busy. There's orbs everywhere. I've noticed there's one here just on the side of Gary, a few off to the side again, a bit further out, fainter, a bit stronger. Once again, nice bit of structure. I don't know what's going on here, but there's some structure in that. A few more in the background. A few more up the top. And something that interests me is the fact that I've got, mind you, I'm pulling quite a good face here because I just got the crap smacked out of me, but I've got an orb on either side of my shoulders, and it's almost as if it's giving me support for taking the kick. That's how it seems anyway. It's only my interpretation. Nice strong one right at the top here. Very bright. Bit of activity in there. A few in the background. Subtle. Large but subtle. Okay, a couple of small orbs here. This one's hardly noticeable. Very fine in the background. This one's a little bit more obvious. Thank you for the blue backing because it gives a nice structural outline. Here we have some nice colours coming through the orb up above my head. A nice pinkish purple colour. Nice strong orb here. Very faint one. Nice strong one on the shoulder here. Another one down there. And two just up here on the bag. Again, I like the structure of some of these units, and up here we have quite a nice outline. A little bit of almost a wavy structure. If anyone has ideas on what structures are, what they mean, please let me know. I have my own ideas, but that's about it. Would like to know more. Again, another one just below the bag. Nice detail running through, good outline, got a strong shape to it. A couple of softer ones up through the roof here. Nice blue-white one appears on the back left shoulder of Gary. Blue-white and moving, I would expect. A bright one, well, not necessarily bright, but a big one, just in the middle. A small one in the background, and another small one on the bag. Okay, there's one down the bottom here, one on my leg, one up the top, again very faint, another small one in the background, another small one behind the bag, another very faint one in the background there. A lot of these can be very hard to see unless you've got the original image. What I've found is on YouTube, with the zooms or not, they don't quite come out the same, which makes it very frustrating to portray it to you guys. Nice bit of colour on this one. It's a nice bright red. The rest of them tend to be either white, like this unit here. Yeah, but as you can see, this one here is quite a red, brownish outline. Bit of a green tinge here. Thanks for stopping by. I'll have an interview set up in the near future and some explanations as to the origins and what these things are, as far as what we understand anyway. And we'll see you next time. Ciao.